Got it?
I got it. Hey everybody, it's the Scotty Road Show.
Target's getting smaller.
It is, isn't it, bud? Yeah. He's talking about the lost a little weight here lately. Subway doing Jared style. 21 pounds later.
No more China buffet tour.
No, I did that last night with my daughter. Felt guilty.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We'll sneak one in. I think we found one out southwest last year.
Right. Well, we're gonna find another one, I'm sure, along the way. So we're driving in the new Race Boys Cruiser, raking it in the right way down the highway, free and easy.
Special thanks,
McCarthy Auto Group.
Shameless plug, they call it.
That's right, shameless plug.
Right.
So,
thanks,
Scotty, we haven't really had a chance to talk much, really, since the Chili Bowl. And,
Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
When was that? Last summer?
Last summer. It seems like a lifetime ago, even though it was only just about 5 or 6
4
weeks
weeks,
ago.
5 weeks.
So
time flies.
That was a good time. Congratulations, Kevin Swindell, winning number.
You the man, boy. Somebody's gonna figure something out one of these days, but I don't know what.
His daddy is probably starting to get a little annoyed by the success of his son.
I don't think so. No, I think he's tickled to death with all of it, and I don't know.
I think he's tickled to death, but at the same time, he'd rather win. So
I really don't know what to say about it. I know he'd rather win, but at this point in time, what I'm really thinking is I'm thinking that even he might have his hands full with the boy. Although, you know, those cars are fabricated and manufactured and rolled out of one shop. So
right.
Who knows? Whatever, did a hell of a job walking the dog again.
Did you think that Kyle Larson had a chance to win if he doesn't spin out?
Maybe, and I think that it really would have all boiled down due to the condition of the track and who used their tires up first, more than likely.
Right.
I don't know that the way they were going back and forth so early, something would have had to given there. There's no way that they could have gone like that for 50 laps, obviously, of course. So
well, here's what I think.
Who knows? I know that he was up for the challenge and he showed his hand early, but the trick to that whole deal now, especially being 55 laps, is being there at the end.
Well, Sammy, I think he felt that they were racing each other too hard and that he had to lay back. And if you go back and you look at their tires after that race, they were used up. And if he would have continued to battle Kyle Larson that hard, I would say that his right rear probably would have blown out. But because he wasn't dealing with a lot of pressure and really having to drive it too hard other than trying to get around that lap traffic.
Well, after Kyle eliminated himself,
Dad was close, but he just wasn't close enough.
No, he didn't have anything for him, and his sole intent for the remainder of the race was to be the buffer, so no one could get near the bumper of the car in front of him.
Right.
Which is, as we've seen the last how many years in a row?
It's wave as our team goes by.
And they're both yakking 90-0. Right. Kirk Elliott, ladies and gentlemen.
Kirk Elliott, Todd Surprise,
put the wheel on him.
Driving the McCarthy Auto Group Traverse, by the way. Anyway, it was a good time down there. I think Brad Sweet was a little vocal about, you know, taking
track
rubber.
Conditions,
but it is what it is, you know. So that's dirt track racing. They rubber up once in a while. We all would have liked to seen the track last a little bit longer, but it happens. You got 260 cars.
I'm not really much one to spout off about that stuff.
It's not that big a deal to me.
Well, it is for those people that pay money to sit in those seats.
But those laps where Larson and those guys were racing each other really hard was well worth the money for me.
Oh, absolutely, but you'd like to see it go further. The track wouldn't have allowed them to be able to do that 15, 20 laps later anyway, really, when you look at it realistically.
Well, they wouldn't have had the tire to do it either.
But really, again, I'm not one to really spout off about things like that, but I will say, being that we see how that track is, let alone manicured and groomed, I mean, we see it from the time it gets hauled in the building to the time it gets torn down, but we see it manicured and groomed, and we see how they do it, and we see the process of it, and we see how it's a pretty simple process, and you get a damn good track out of the finished product after they rework it. So to get what we got I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek about it, and when it's within your capability to make a good track and you don't, then it's kind of like a bummer. But again, I'm not saying anything.
Well, I mean, just think about it. You had nearly 1,000
don't matter
cars compete at the Tulsa shootout. Then then you throw on that a couple weeks later on the same dirt where you're running, I don't know how many races it was, 234 races, whatever it is.
The same day, the same day of the championship night, that afternoon for the non-qualifiers portion, we saw them turn it over
countless times.
No, I think they...
How many times?
No, twice, I think.
All day?
No, in between races, they'd go and rake it with
just kind of open it up.
But I'm talking about rip it and turn it over. We saw them redo that once, maybe twice during Saturday, and right after they did it, we saw some awesome shit.
Yeah, I thought it was
real,
good.
even for non-qualifier stuff. So, whatever. Anyway, had a blast at the Chili Bowl.
It was good.
Now we're on to the desert.
I just want to say thanks to everybody that made the purchase for the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout, by the way.
It helps our cause by all means.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're headed down to Tucson International Raceway Park.
Is that what they call that thing now?
That's what it's called, formerly USA Raceway.
Do you recall the first time we ever entered into the pits of that place for the very first time? Remember what we saw?
Was it Jesse Hockett?
Well, actually, Jesse was, I think, the only hauler parked in the infield in the pits at that time when we entered. But you don't remember seeing those two mangy-ass coyotes?
Oh, that's right before the pit shack, right? Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote chasing that road runner.
Never seen a damn thing in my life.
Way out in the middle of Tucson, boy. Don't turn your back out there.
Man, you looking forward to getting out to the Southwest?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Froggy, ready to get the hell. Yeah.
Get back to what we do.
Get back in the element. Get back into the smell, the feel, and most importantly, what I get out of it always mostly is just being around your family.
That's
being around your family, you know.
Yeah, that's
especially after you haven't seen them for, you get. Chili Bowl's so big you don't get to see everybody, but to get back out on the tour and be around your
group,
your peoples, that's a good thing. And so it's a feel-good thing to be heading out here and getting in the middle of, it's funny, you never, you always know what to expect when you get out in the middle of that group. Nothing but love and a lot of laughs, really. That's what it all boils down to.
You have not been to Cocopah Speedway, where we go the weekend after.
But I'm fitting to.
You're fitting to go out there and see what it's all about. We're going to have a little fun at the entertainment center right next door to the Casino Hotel, across the street from the racetrack. They have a bowling alley, pool table.
I thought you were talking
arcade. No, not that kind of entertainment. No, we don't partake in that. Right?
I don't spend my money that way.
And they're too young. They remind me of my daughter, so I don't go to them. You know, it doesn't bother you anymore. Anyway, you don't have a kid 24 years old, so
no. My name's Bennett,
and I ain't in it. Well, you might be.
Anyways,
anyway, so pay-per-view. This is going to be our first, man. And let me just say, Kirk and I are giddy about this. You know, people have been wanting us to do pay-per-view forever. We've been doing live streaming for a long time. And we felt that the time was now. You know, you got people trying to get in there and do pay-per-view, and they did the race out at Canyon, and that's all good. But we're the ASCS broadcasting partner, so we're going to ramp it up. We're going to do basically our Racing Boys radio broadcast with video. And I'm pretty pumped up about it, aren't you?
For sure, yeah. It's time to turn the page and step it on up. And I know that probably, of course, like you, I've been getting like messages and emails and stuff, just the core group listeners, from here and there, a little buzz about, really excited to check it out. So, well, it's just a brand new chapter for you and old Kirk Elliott. After how many years?
What, Kirk and I have been partners? Kirk's been with me 13 years, but we've been doing live streaming for 8 years. This is the 10th anniversary for RacingBoys.com.
Good, 9 years.
And that's something.
It feels like I just met you Yahoos yesterday.
Yeah, it's amazing. See, now you weren't there for the first year. Were you there the first year of the Chili Bowl? that we did the broadcast, or the second year?
The second one.
Second year.
Yeah. The first year that you broadcast the Chili Bowl, I had a good time that year.
I want to say, I know we're talking.
I had a good time that year.
You did?
Yeah. Anyway,
you want to mention any good times?
Well, I will say this.
Yeah.
And those only a few will know and understand, but that particular year, with some friends of mine that came from Central Missouri, the marital bliss of my dear friend Katie Addington from Grinnell, Iowa, and or Katie, what was Katie's last name? Katie married Steve. Katie met Steve Addington that year, and now they're married.
I got you.
Anyway, just a little bullshit tidbit.
Well,
what were you saying?
What year was that?
Well, we had fun that year.
You kidding?
Oh boy, it was 2005. Maybe 2006. I don't recall. There's too many checkered flags around.
Right. Well, anyway, just saying that we're, with this pay-per-view deal, that we're going to hopefully do a handful or more of those this year. We got the blessing of Lucas Oil, and that was a big deal because it's huge. I want to thank Bob for that, Bob Pattison over there, Lucas and Forrest and everybody that support us. That's a pretty big deal for us to get their blessing on something like that. So, and they're going to be our title sponsor, all of our broadcasts. I want to thank them too. But hey, and we got a new presenting sponsor for the first couple races here in 2013. Well Racing, title sponsor for the next 4 nights. So hopefully Chris Bovis and Scott Mackey and those guys like what we do, and they stay on board with us all year. We want to thank them for coming on.
Let alone a staple in Kansas City, a staple in all of dirt track racing, street rod racing forever, a long time. So, Gail Custer, how do you do? From Well Racing, you've always been so good and well.
Yeah,
so
she has been good to us.
Good people, man. It's always good to have good people come aboard with.
That just happened here in the last few days too, so we appreciate that. All right, so before we wrap up here, Jason Johnson.
Yeah, what about him?
14 races last year. Does he win more this year? Over under 14.
Ooh. I'm gonna say over. Yeah.
Less races this year.
Still over.
I'm gonna go under.
How many more? How many less?
We have less races.
How many less?
Well, right now with the TBAs, there's 58, I believe.
How many were there last year?
62.
Oh, it don't make any difference. He'll still go over it.
So if we get all the races, but say if it...
And I'm not slighting you, Wayne. I know you're going to get your share too. Right. It's just going to be the same. And don't
That's going to get you a nut shot. You know that.
Whatever. He'll shoot you in the nuts whether you're bonking his balls or not anyway. So when you walk around Wayne Johnson's, don't look the other way because he will flop your ball. Just be careful.
He told me we were on neutral ground during the Chili Bowl.
Right.
It's all fair game when we get back on the tour.
Whatever. About that time, he'll whack you in the balls.
Right.
And do not count out. He shouldn't even be called a dark horse. I'm going to say a leading candidate to come out of the gates strong.
That
maybe even come up out of the desert with a points lead after the first 2 stops.
Who would that be?
Our old Jose Cuervo buddy from Albuquerque.
Wow, how about that? Johnny Herrera.
Yeah,
wow.
He knows.
No doubt.
Talked. Old dude ain't washed up. He can still wheel a sprint.
The guy finished 4th in points last year without winning a race. That tells you how consistent he is. And if he can put it together and get a string of wins, there's no doubt he can be a championship contender.
He's got little assistants this year, and assistants.
Sean Peterson, print place.
Easy for you to say,
right,
but any racer knows that you get a little bit of financial backing. It sure goes a long way with what the finished product is and how your results are.
I'm going to tell you something to keep an eye on. Tony Bruce Jr. You say Tony Bruce Jr.?
HP?
Tony won 3 races last year. He could have won 5 or 6 if he didn't have the part failure. And folks, he's moved over to the Roush Yates motors. They purchased 2 of those this year. Got 2 brand new bullets.
Look out!
And they've got the support of Eagle now, Eagle Chassis, they're one of the house guys. There's no doubt in my mind that Tony Bruce is going to be a contender for the top 3 in the championship, if not make a push for the championship. Granted now, Jason is the man to beat. Everybody knows that. He's going to have a little bad luck along the way for anybody to dethrone him. But if there's one guy out there that can put himself into position to do that, if Jason has a problem, I think Johnny Ware and Tony Bruce both will be those guys. We know Wayne's going to be in the mix of it. You know that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So, I don't know.
We shall
what about
see.
Brad Loyette? Can he? You think he's championship contender? He got picked up a win last year out at Santa Maria.
Yeah, no, Brad. In the future, yes, by all means, if he would stay out here. I don't know what's word was late last year. They might want to do the 410, right? But we know now that
they've committed. They put the press release out.
Right,
they're going to run it.
Right. So with that, I think all I can say, sophomore season on the tour for him.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, and again, anything I say is no dig to anybody. It's just, I call him like I see him. Brad's very talented. He showed that winning the Warrior Championship first year with a wing. And he gets out here last year, picks up National Tour event win. It's all in seat time. He needs a lot of laps, a lot more seat time. I would say a very solid contender for a top 5 or a top 3.
Right.
But no, he's not going to win the championship this year. And I could eat crow come next November, but
listen, again, everybody has to
and I like
Jason.
You, Brad.
Everybody has to beat Jason, but I will say that Brad Loyette is a championship caliber team.
And right now, sophomore season coming out the gate, you think they got a shot to win?
I absolutely do.
They're going to be pissed at me. The guy from back home won it.
I'm not, but again, I got to put my money on Jason just because
it takes chemistry, finances, and seat time.
And he's got all of that going for him, Jason.
Check.
Right now.
Check.
Right.
And check.
Right. Exactly.
You got to have seat time to win championships, and if you don't, or if you do win them without the seat time, I don't know if you can call it a fluke, but it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, how you been doing? All right? Everything going all right?
I think I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Good.
Yeah, feeling pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Pretty good. I think one last thing I want to say before we.
Yeah.
It's been bugging me, man. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do you want to do like that?
No.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, sorry for the added noise, but we ran over a skunk.
Good night, nurse. What I was gonna say, filthy bastard. Boy, I was really so excited I was like really, really excited after little Ricky wrapped up his season last year, and we know he's talented, and to know that he was going to give his first go at a cup points chase this year, rookie season, I was really, really curious and anxious to see how he was going to be and how he was going to progress. But since that press release from about a couple weeks ago, all I can say, buddy, is stay strapped in that bitch and stay focused on
hold on now.
Start finish line. You know what I'm talking about. Don't go there. I'm just saying, man.
You said strapped in that bitch.
Don't get distracted in all the hoopla, because these drivers will tell you there's a whole lot of hoopla, and you can get lost in that shit real easy. So little Ricky Stenhouse Jr., get cinched in and just go forward and don't worry about all that, because it'll come, right? God bless you.
Think about your head in your helmet, not the head in your drawers. That's what he's trying to say, right?
I want him to do well.
Right.
Talk about somebody that can win championships.
Yeah.
That boy can do it. He'll get her done. You watch. If that little thing don't get him.
Right. Well, we'll see if that gets him cross-threaded or not. I will tell you this.
Drivers are a funny breed. They can get whacked out real quick of the smallest of things. I've known many of them to do so.
Right. I haven't been as excited about NASCAR like I am this year since Boyer got into it and Carl Edwards.
Clint Bouye, as Uncle Cy Robertson calls him.
And I will tell you that I feel that way this year for two reasons. Ricky, obviously running over the Cup side, and watching Kyle Larson, which I don't even think we've talked about this, but
The real deal, Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson's crew chief, Trent Owens,
Really?
is his crew chief
Our
for the
old
32
buddy
car.
Trent Owens.
First race Trent Owens was the crew chief for was for me at Kansas Speedway 2003. First race ever as a crew chief. And our second race as a team was when Boyer ran second, and he was the crew chief for Clinton. How about that?
Trent's a good old boy from down there
He
in
is a
North
good
Kakalaki. Richard Petty's
Nephew.
nephew.
Right.
He got a Petty smile. And he's
Randy
a good old
Owens
boy.
was his dad. He got killed at Daytona in 1975.
Had the pleasure of meeting Trent at the Power and Light and at the Kansas Speedway 2 years ago with you good people.
Yeah, he always looks me up when he comes to Kansas City, and
So
I consider
Trent
him a great
Owens
friend.
is Kyle's crew chief.
Yeah,
Well, how about them apples?
he's
Good
running for
deal.
Rookie of the Year with Trent Owens as crew chief.
Good deal. I would say
And just a little FYI about Trent Owens, if you're not familiar with him, he's been a crew chief for a lot of different people over the last few years. He's got 6 Nationwide Series wins as a crew chief. He can do it, and he's in really good hands.
And
Him and Kyle, I think really Kyle Larson and Trent Owens could be the best 1-2 combination in the Nationwide
I was
Series.
just getting ready to say upon learning that is obviously it takes a ton of chemistry to win a championship between the driver and the crew chief,
Right.
and like personalities,
Right.
opposite of being up on the chip and at each other's ass every time you strap in a car or a radio.
Yeah.
Those two guys, one of them's just as laid back as the other one. I could see big nasty potential for this year out of the gate for him for sure.
Yeah, I'm real happy for Kyle, but I'm even more excited for Trent. So,
I bet it takes.
good job, Trent.
I bet it takes overnight to download that.
It might.
because it might be a long.
On that note, we'll cut out now, and we'll talk to you again here on the Scott and Scotty Road Trip. See you later.
Headed for the Big Texan, Amarillo by morning.